believed that he could take nothing out of this world, but only himself and his character. He knew that what counted in life was not what he had, but what he was. He died at a very young age, in the year 323 before Christ. One of the greatest longings each one of us has is the desire for security, to look to the old age coming inevitably, and to realize that perhaps there will be no security at that old age is indeed a frightening thought. Sooner or later, we have to look at making provisions for the future, especially when we have passed the age of holding a job or being independent. Indeed, we, at one point or another, will feel a need to make plans for our future. And we always do. We may be wise enough to make plans for our temporal lives, but often we ignore the presence of God and His help in our lives. All the time, we are taught about buying insurance, saving accounts, and the like for our future. Our society is such that it almost forces us to make plans for our future. many times the fact that we cannot take it with us. Enable us to look at our future in a different way. No doubt, material possessions are important to us. We need them to nourish our families. We need them to live comfortably in this world. But the material possessions and the money is not the end for us Christians. No matter how much money we may have saved up, the day will come for us, for God to say to us, this very day or night, your life will be requested of us. Perhaps there's more words about life, and Jesus' words not to be preoccupied with material things serve to us as a warning. So many times today's gospel and Jesus' words about the lilies of the field call us see